Kimberly here, and I am really excited to talk to you today about the expansion Heritage for Ancient Knowledge. And if you've seen my channel before, you've seen some of my videos, you know that I was really impressed with Ancient Knowledge from last year. My husband in particular was enamored with the game, and we have played it several times since then, and it just keeps growing on me, this replayability and this wonderful feature of really what the game describes is your major opponent, which is time. Players are essentially representing a civilization that has monuments and relics that it is trying to preserve. And there's going to be knowledge represented by these little bits that you will put onto these cards that will slowly shift into decline over the course of the game. And it is a race. This is a race game. And if you're not prepared for that quickness, you might be left back in the dust, back in history, right? You'll be forgotten. So this game is all about the cards, and there is this massive deck. You'll see here, these two stacks right here are all the cards that are in the game. Now, really quick overview. On your turn, you play, or you do two actions. The back side of everyone's player card says you can create, again, a monument or a relic. You can learn some technology by taking a card if you qualify for it. You can archive by discarding those knowledge tokens from your board. You can excavate by drawing builder cards for each card you rotate in the past, which means it's gone into decline and you're still banking on that past knowledge. And then searching lets you draw a card. So this game is all about the cards. Then you will do a timeline phase, activating anything with that kind of hammer symbol in any order you want, which gives you really cool opportunities. And lastly, decline. You'll slide all your monuments in your timeline down to the left. And the end of the game is triggered when a player has 14 or more cards in decline. When a card goes into decline and it hasn't essentially saved all of its knowledge, the broken knowledge goes here in this space, which is negative. And then over to the side here where you put those technology cards. So one of the first things I want to show you are the cards. These are going to be the expanded content for the game. You're going to have extra cards here for your technologies. And in your rule book, it says here there are 6 level 1 cards and 6 level 2 cards for your technology. And then you've got 9 artifacts and then 27 monument cards, which are down here. I've got the stack here with the relics, you've got your orange, your blue, and your green monuments, and then you've got your extra content here for your level 1 and then your level 2 technologies. And so it's just more. You've got 2 of the green or the teal ones, and then of course those are going to be your brand new cards. You've got 2 of the onks or the yellow cards, and it looks like this one has a requirement, 2 monuments in your past. And then you're going to gain those benefits. And then here you've got those 3, the 2 here, which have some requirements. And you'll see down here in the bottom corner, those are going to be the symbols that show you this is the expansion content. And then you've got the same thing here for the level 2s. Really cool. 11 on your monuments, which is really different. And then no on your timeline, no of those little technology pieces, none of that knowledge. Wow, and wow. I mean, really cool. And then I've got here the Aramaic alphabet, 9 rotated monuments, 5 technologies, slightly different requirements here. I haven't seen these necessarily before, all of them. And then you've got your last ones here. So these are going to just be more of the same thing, which is good. It's always fun to get more content. And then you've got more of these cards here. Again, you've got more of these guys. I want to show you one particular type of card that's new. There's only one other new one. Here it is. Everything else is pretty similar to what you've seen before in the game, but this is interesting. So it says here, choose and place an available level 2 technology on this monument. You weren't able to do this before. If you fulfill the requirements of this technology, add it to your collection during decline. Otherwise, discard it. This is cool. This allows you to save a level 2 technology, which is so stinking cool. So this is new. This is cool. That's one of my favorite new cards, my favorite features of the game. There are some other interesting bonuses, which I just think are great. I love the moving and the swapping. This is just huge. For me, I think this is a fantastic new feature. Swap this monument with another monument in your timeline and then move another monument to an empty space in your timeline. I saw my opponents using this when we played with the expansion really, really well. It was just a fantastically timed feature. I ended up playing this like 3 times, and I thought it was actually really great. If you have relics in your hand, then draw cards. If you discard them, you can discard a lot of technology, or not technology, but knowledge. Really cool, and that's one of those every round features that you get. So just some fantastic, here's the other one. This is going to be the choose and place 1 level 1 technology. So some new cards with new features that I think really change some of your strategies in the game that I think are just really, really, really cool. So yes, yes, and yes, and there's another swap'ems. So very, very cool, along with these brand new cards that you just simply add. These are, again, going to be, just new cards. Really, really cool. You may discard 2 cards. If you do, learn one of the technologies if you can fulfill it. I wanted to do this so bad, and the person right in front of me took the second of the 3 technologies, and of course it cleared and then I wasn't able to learn anything, but it's really a cool opportunity. So these cards are going to definitely rejuvenate the deck that you've already familiarized yourself with, and you just shuffle everything in. You shuffle all the cards in, you shuffle all the 1s into the 2 and 2s into their decks, and then you'll have brand new cards that you play with. And that's good. That's good. Like, to me, that's almost like good enough. But I'm going to say one more thing before I move on to the solo that Heritage offers. Now, I heard, and I don't know where I heard it, but I heard that Heritage solved the attack and or the take that happens in the base game. And it doesn't. So I wanted to kind of clear that up. Maybe you heard the same rumor as well. There are very, very few cards here that do some take that. And they are mostly the blue cards. I have taken them out of the deck. There's 1 green card here. That's a monument, and it says each of your opponents must discard 1 relic from their board. And so this is the one that doesn't fit that color, but the other ones are almost all this particular color. It says here, add 2 from the reserve to any monument in each of your opponent's timelines. So this kind of card, the Great Sphinx of Giza, is going to attack. It does give you 1 victory point. You do have to start with 3 knowledge on it, and it does begin at level 2. So to some degree, it might be challenging for you to actually get this card before decline to get your knowledge out of there, and it's not necessarily great victory points. And I understand the balance of playing with these and understand and knowing like when to play them and when it's best for you and when it essentially helps you in addition to kind of thwarting your opponent. I have decided to take these out, and I know people might say, okay, now the game is just solo or solitaire, side by side, where everyone's just kind of playing all by themselves. Perhaps. There are still the interactions with the technology board that I do find very valuable and very rewarding, but I do think that with so few cards, there's 7. There's 7 cards, and then there are only 2 technologies that ask you to do something to your opponent, or kind of like attack them in some way. And they are both the feather cards. But if you take those out of these massive stacks of cards, you're not losing too much, just knowing that the balance is a little bit off for the brown feather cards and for the blue monument cards. But to me, to get that in there and to have to deal with that component and to, in some ways, have planned out everything you want to do, and then one person adds one more thing here, or they make you lose a card that you really need, and it really does change what you're going to do on your turn negatively. I feel like this game is so much about working parts, and it's all about planning things and really just knowing that nobody can really mess with your space. That's the way I like to play Ancient Knowledge. Other people might want to play differently. So my recommendation to you is, if you don't want to play with these cards, you can just take them out. It's okay. And it's understandable. Like, other people are doing a similar thing if they want to play that way without the very, very, very small risk. Now, I'm telling you, it's a very small percentage of cards in the deck that will do these things. But if your opponents choose to do them, you kind of have to deal with it in the middle of a game, and you can't say, oh no, don't do that, I don't want you to. So we have just decided in my table, in my game, in my gaming group, to take these out. And again, there are so few of them that now with the influx of all these expansion cards, I think is okay. I feel like it's a nice adjustment, and I'm okay with the balance. So what I was looking for with Heritage was maybe, fixing the take that card. Nope, it didn't. So instead, I'm just adding all these really cool cards to my decks and then taking out the ones that I just don't want. That's my choice. I'm okay with it. So here's what I want to do though, is I want to talk about why you're actually going to get Heritage. It's maybe for the cards, which I think are really good, but I actually think it's for the solo play. The game is 2 to 4 players for the base game, for Ancient Knowledge. This gives you the solo play. And the solo play in this game is why you get Heritage. It has 2 different versions. You've got challenge mode, and then you've got the heritage mode. So your challenge mode achieves predefined objectives through 10 challenges, and the heritage mode lets you play up to 15 games while achieving the objectives. And there is this scale back here for your challenge mode that tells you for your 10 games what cards you start with as relics and what cards you start with as treasures. And they are going to be your objectives, and they're going to be the bonuses that you get. And these cards are these guys right here. So New Era begins with the A and the B. So when it starts as the relic space, this is going to be your objective or your goal for that particular game. You want 4 orange monuments, 4 blue monuments, and 4 green monuments in your past. And this goes under, and then this one, B, is your treasure chest, and it goes underneath. And what you do is you do this now. And so the chest is on the bottom, and then the goal or the objective is up here at the top for your relic. And so where these cards go in your player board would be like this. I put the A card here, and then I slide, I'm going to put these down here, this card underneath, and then that's going to be my treasure chest. So that's how these work. And it's like this ability is activated, and then this one is what I'm going for. So that's really how this is going to work here with all of your chests, all the way down to O. And they have all these different goals and expectations. And this card right here is going to be your timer. You have 16 rounds. So what we do here as part of setup is your time card, and it's going to go into decline. So it runs down, you'll see here, it's locked in at 4. It goes down 4. It says place this in your pass at the start of your next turn, rotate it and place it on space 6. So then we rotate it when it goes into decline. It says place it in the past at 6. And then when it goes into decline again, you're going to flip it over. And it says here, we're going to go again 6 more time. At the end, it is the end of the game when it goes into decline again. And then this is it. Check your objectives, determine your final score. So this is your timer. This is going to essentially walk you down through all these different declines. And again, that's 16 rounds. And then you've got this really cool die that you roll for your technology board that essentially is going to flush out and change out your technology cards, much like opponents would be taking them from the board. And so you always replace if you have only 1 card left on your boards of 3. This is where the game is at. This is what you get with Ancient Knowledge Heritage. So I'm going to recommend, if you want solo play, which Ancient Knowledge almost offers already, which is, again, you're playing simultaneous solitaire, particularly when you take out the take that negative cards. That's what you get here, and that's what I'm going to recommend. If this sounds great to you, if you enjoyed Ancient Knowledge and you like that feel of controlling and knowing everything, and yes, time is your enemy here, only enemy, because you take out any of your opponents from getting in your way, you will really enjoy Heritage. And that's probably what I'm going to benefit the most from with this expansion, in addition to these really nice additions of cards to the deck. I think they're dynamite cards, but alone wouldn't necessarily be enough for me to recommend Heritage. It's the solo play that really rockets this to the top of my charts, the top of my favorites list. Okay, everybody, that's going to be it for me. I will see you later. Bye.